Ladies and gentlemen, today we have with us the 2022 Aston Martin Vantage Roadster, the V8 powered beast which has enough power to dominate the roads, yet is so opulent and comfortable that it is one of the best daily drivers. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you a detailed review of this car, talking about every single aspect such as styling, performance, features, practicality, comfort, everything. So without any further ado, let's get started and review the Vantage Roadster. Now, there have been many iterations of the Aston Martin Vantage, and every time Aston has worked on the looks, power, comfort and features of the car. This generation, the one that was introduced in 2018, has to be the best one yet, because under the hood is a 4-liter V8 engine sourced by Mercedes-AMG, which produces 503 brake horsepower, which is an absolutely fantastic number, which has been paired to a ZF 8-speed transmission for razor fast shifts. But onto the performance figures of this car a little bit later on. I first want to talk about the way the car looks. So let's get on with that. If we talk about the looks of the Aston Martin Vantage, well, Aston has something which they call the unmistakable presence, and I completely agree with them. I mean, just the way this car looks, it is such a head turner. Talking about the headlamps, these ultra slim design which fits in with the car so very well, and by the way, these are completely LED headlamps, which is great in terms of safety and lighting up the road in front of you. If you look at the grille of this car, which is absolutely humongous, which it needs to be to cool that massive 4-liter twin-turbo V8. We have the Aston Martin logo given front and clear in the center of the car, which glorifies this look even better. But one thing that the Vantage is really known for is its stance. Aston Martin calls it the praying stance, which is taken in inspiration from an animal which is ready to pray. The looks of this car, no doubt, are really stunning. Now, I always say, if you have the option for a convertible, get the convertible. And if you ask the reason, well, it's right here. The way a convertible car looks, the way it feels while you drive it, it is unparalleled. And Aston Martin knows that. They created the Aston Martin Roadster with the vision of creating one of the best daily drivable, powerful sports car, which yet is also a convertible. And yes, when I say supercars, this car has super numbers. Performance-wise, obviously, 0 to 100 in this car is around 3.8 seconds, which is bonkers fast. But also, if we talk about the convertible roof of the car, well, this roof is the fastest in the industry, which takes only around 6 seconds for the whole car to convert, either from its open state to its closed state or from its closed state to its open state. But if we do talk about the side profile of this car, this probably is a sight to see. The rear haunches of this car are so wide, which gives this car a very muscular and a very powerful character. Looking at these gorgeous, stunning 20-inch alloy wheels, which do look so stunning, yet have such a sporty characteristic to them, is probably the whole vibe of this car. The Vantage is muscular, sporty, yet at the same time is one of the most beautiful cars on the road. Now, we're very clear on the fact that Aston has tried to give this car a very animalistic character. Like in the front, where the car has a slanted nose portraying an animal looking for prey, in a similar fashion, the rear of the car is also quite animalistic. The signature slim tail lamps for any Aston has been given in this car, no doubt, but the tail lamps for this car, as you can see, they start on from this end over here, go all the way through the trunk and then end on the other side. Looking at the diffuser of this car, which is also aggressive, that too matches with the vibe of the car really well. And as for other things, we have the Aston Martin logo over there given with an Aston Martin badge right beneath it. Overall, I can say that without a doubt, Aston Martin has spent a lot of time trying to inculcate this absolutely spectacular design for the Vantage. But it's not just the exterior that amazes you. The interior of the Aston Martin Vantage, of any Aston Martin really, takes you away every single time as well. The way that everything is so sophisticated in the car, so well built in the car, is what is Aston Martin really is known for. For example, let's talk about the center console over here. It has a plethora of buttons which controls various things in the car, no doubt about that. But the way everything has been designed to fit in with each other, nothing looks out of its place or nothing looks low quality at that. And as we are talking about quality, let's actually talk about the materials used in the car as well. Everything in this car is finished with leather or either metal. These paddle shifters, which look to be metal, are actually metal. We have metal accents given all around the steering wheel of the car, and everything else you put your eyes on has been finished in one of the best materials available. We're talking about a supercar, and if we don't talk about the performance figures, it'd be like we're cheating on the car. So let's do that first. Like I said, this car has a 4-liter twin-turboed V8 producing about 503 brake horsepower and 685 Newton-meter of torque. Now those are humongous numbers and the torque is massive for the car. But what will even shock you more is that all that torque, 685 Newton-meters, that is available to you as low as 2,000 RPM. That's almost cruising speed. And all this power is delivered to the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission given in this car for razor fast shifts. Now what does all of that equate to? Because numbers are great, but we want real life examples. Well, 0 to 100 in this car is a mere 3.8 seconds and a top speed of around 306 kilometers per hour. A proper situation where I can say numbers speak for themselves. But it's not just about the engine, it's about the engineering that Aston Martin has put within this car. For example, the position of the engine. However, we are accessing the engine from the front side, but this is actually a mid-mountain engine because if you see, the engine is actually placed behind the front wheels of the car. The weight distribution of this car, well, it's in a ratio of 49 to 51, where 49% of the weight is in the front of the car and 51 is in the back. That is incredible. And it doesn't stop there because this is one of the most aerodynamically efficient car that I've ever seen. Let me explain. I would like to direct your attention towards the hood of the car where we have all that going on. Now let me explain how all of that works. So what happens is that air enters through the grille of the car. Some of it goes into the engine, some of it comes through this over here, which is then leaded into this portion over here, because once it closed, those two attach together. So air goes in through there and then exits over there, which is then redirected towards the engine for further cooling of the engine. How ingenious is that? And we're not even done. Because if we see over here, the wheel well is one area that messes up with the aerodynamics a lot. So car manufacturers figure out a way for the air to exit through the wheel well, and how Aston Martin has done that is through over here. If you can see, this vent right here directs directly into the wheel well. So what happens is that air once comes over here and then starts circulating in the wheel well, it is then directed out through these vents over here and then comes out from here, further increasing the efficiency of the car. And then we come on to the rear portion over here where we have the absolutely massive yet such an aggressive diffuser for the car. This too is completely redesigned for aerodynamic efficiency. If you have a look towards the rear end over here, just look at the girth that the car has from right there. That is how well made the Aston Martin Vantage is and how well Aston has thought while making and developing this car. And now let's talk about the features packed in the Aston Martin Vantage Roadster. First, let's talk about the steering wheel. We have a beautiful leather wrapped steering wheel with a flat bottom and such a sporty feel. It's a multifunctioning steering wheel. Obviously, we have all these buttons over here for the infotainment display and one button over here for the suspension setup of this car. Let's come back to that later. But then moving on to the other side, you can see we have buttons for the driver display in this car. And then we also have paddle shifters, beautiful aluminum paddle shifters, by the way, with such a clicky feel to them and an absolutely amazing feedback. Also, I must say that whenever you turn the steering wheel of the car, the paddle shifters stay in position so that you do not get confused to whether you are upshifting or downshifting while taking a turn in the car. So that too is quite good. Like I said, it is a driver focused car to its core. But then now let's talk about these two buttons over here. Now this button over here is for the suspension setup of this car. The car has 3 modes that you can drive in. So right now it is in normal mode, but then you can put this car into Sport Plus mode and then also track mode. So as you can see, we have the suspension of this car in track mode right now, but whereas the drive terrain for the whole car, that still is in normal, as you can see. But then you can press this button right over here to change that to Sport Plus, and then also that to track, which you can see also changes the way the tachometer of the car looks. And as we are talking about the tachometer, let's talk about the driver display now, which by the way is a piece of art. The way everything has been positioned in this display is absolutely fantastic. As you can see, given in this portion over here are all the information related to the engine of the car. We have all the check engine lights over here. We have all the system related functions over here, such as fuel, the engine temperature, and all that basic details that you require about the engine, especially in a sports car. But then we have this center portion over here which has all the information related to the driving of the car, such as your speed readout. We have this enormous tachometer which is digital, and as you can see, which changes when you change the drive terrain of the car. We also have the gear selector, and that is pretty much it. So as if you are going in this car for a spirited drive, this is all you need. But then over here we have the one panel which is there for infotainment and comfort. So as you can see, we can configure it through these scroller and these buttons over here. So we have trip information, which is quite standard, the odometer. We have navigation for the maps in the car. We have radio, media, telephone, service, settings. Again, a very standard display, but the way everything has been organized within this display and the way it is so easy to use, that is a big thumbs up from my side to Aston Martin. But that right there, this driver display, is not the only display in this car. We also have another one which is given in the center console right over here. Now remember when I said in the performance factor of this car that it is a Mercedes AMG derived engine? Well, that is not the only thing derived from Mercedes in this car. The infotainment system right over here, everything has been derived from Mercedes. You can turn it on from over here, and then once the display turns on, as you can see over here, you will see what I am talking about. The whole fit and finish, the way you use it, everything has been derived from Mercedes, yet has an Aston Martin feel to it. As you can see, instead of a Mercedes-Benz, we have the Aston Martin Vantage over there, and then the way to use it, as you can see even over here, the controls for it are similar to a Mercedes car. So as far as usability goes, if you like the way the system has been in a Mercedes, you will love the system given in this car as well. Given also in the center console are way more other things, such as your 360 parking camera in the car. As you can see, we have a 360 view over here, and then a rear parking sensor view over here. We have the gear selector of the car, which is one of my favorite things because it's not an actual selector. There are few buttons such as P for parking, R for reverse, N for neutral, D for drive, as standard in any other car as well. But the one thing that I do like is that there are actual dedicated buttons for it, and I really like the way Aston Martin has done that. Then we get the AC controls for the car given over here. Again, they fit in with the interior really well. Very high quality given to this whole system. It's a completely metal finish. We have buttons for the lights in this car, locking the car, menu for the infotainment display, and we have a few comfort features such as heated seats for the cars as well. So all in all, this car really is the complete package. But we're not done with the features just yet, because one of my favorite features for any Aston Martin, it's not just for the Aston Martin Vantage, are the doors for the car. Because first of all, you open these doors like an English handshake. You open them like this, but then the doors for the car actually open slightly upwards. As you can see, if I come over here, the distance of the door and the ground from here and the distance of the door and the ground from there is significantly larger, which gives this car a kind of a wing type feel. So if I open the door from this side as well, it's like an animal ready to take flight. But the best thing about the doors is they help you in not hitting the curb, because the distance starts to increase over here. So it helps the car by not hitting the curb, for one. Then the second is that the doors can stay stable at any position. If you want to stay the door over here, it stays. If you want to keep the door over here, well, that's where the door will stay. In normal cars, you have 2 or 3 different static points where the door can be, but not when you have an Aston Martin. And now let's talk about the practicality in this car. Well, it's a supercar, yet I can still say it is one of the most practical supercars on the road, and that's one of my main reasons for saying that this is one of the best daily drivers out there. Let me explain. Practicality wise, over here you can see in the center console we have this portion over here which gives us 2 cup holders, and then we also have this armrest which opens up, which reveals this storage cubby for, let's say, keeping your phone and a few other stuff. You also have an SD card reader over there along with 2 USB ports for charging your mobile phone and other stuff. Moving to the doors of this car, you can see we have quite significantly large storage cubbies over there as well. So if you wanted to keep, let's say, a smaller bottle or some other stuff like newspaper, magazines over here, that is quite well possible. One other place where you do get storage in this car is back over here in between the seats. You press this small button over here which reveals this lid, and you open that to reveal another big storage cubby, which is quite significant. If you wanted to keep like even larger stuff over there, I think that will be possible. And even on the lid itself, you can see we have this small little strap over here. So this, I assume, is for keeping the documents for your car. Reason being, this car does not get a glove box. But the trunk of this car is what will astonish you the most. To open it, you do have a button on the key fob of the car that you just press and hold, which opens the trunk, and then you can just lift it up from over here. But once you do open the trunk of this car, you can easily see that this is one large trunk. Especially according to a supercar, which are quite scarce in terms of trunk, well, the Aston Martin Vantage rules over here, because in this trunk space, I can easily assume you can keep 3 or even 4 bags. Aston Martin says that you can easily keep a golf bag over here without an issue, and that is what assures me that this is one very practical supercar. 2 words that you do not get to hear together. And now let's talk about the comfort in the Aston Martin Vantage. Well, there are 2 main aspects over here. First of all, how the experience is within the car, because I can say that my initial impressions are really good. These leather seats are very soft, very plush, very comfortable. So I don't think even going for a long road trip would really have any kind of issues. It's a quite comfortable car. Even the driver has so many features over here. For example, we can move the seat back and forth. We have electrically adjustable backrests in the car. We have 3 memory seats, not only for the driver, but also for the passenger. And even the steering wheel, that too can be electrically adjustable. So everything that one looks at in a comfortable car, the Aston Martin Vantage has that clear. The second thing is actually jetting in and out of the car, because supercars in general, the way that they are low to the ground and the way that they're actually designed, getting in and out is a real hassle. But there's actually a quite nifty little trick to it. So what you need to do is, let me first get out of the car and show you. So what usually people do is that they actually put their feet in first and then get in. Well, that is quite uncomfortable. So what an easier way is, first you sit yourself down on the seat like this, and then move your feet inside. Similarly, when you want to get out, move your feet out first and then get out. And so that was a review of the 2022 Aston Martin Vantage Roadster. But we have to talk about the verdict of this car. Like I said in the very beginning of the video, this is one supercar which is the perfect daily driver. Because if you really look at it, the 3 main things in a daily driver are as follows. 1, it should look good, which the Aston Martin Vantage just speaks for itself. Second, it should have ample amount of power, which the numbers of this car can speak for themselves. And then third is the practicality and comfort of the car. In terms of practicality, I have shown you how much storage this car has. I have shown you how much of a capable car this is if you wanted to take this car out for a long road trip or something like that. This car really is the perfect daily driver supercar. And well, if we talk about comfort, the way that Aston Martin has given everything, the way that it has such a plush leather interior, the way it has customizations for even the drive terrain and suspension settings for the car, the way that everything just fits in this car is why I say this is the perfect daily driver supercar. But that is really all from my side in this review. I really hope that you liked this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up. Comment down below your thoughts on the Aston Martin Vantage Roadster. Share this video as much as you can, and subscribe to the channel would be absolutely amazing because it gives me so much motivation to create content for you guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.